I knew I wanted to leave my marriage long before I finally actually said it. I'm still married, 3 kids, a dog, a house sale in front of me, and mediation coming up. We're still cooking in the same kitchen, but I'm no longer his wife. And I want to share with you today in this video what it actually feels like and the fears you must face in the in-between. You know you want to end your relationship, but you're afraid of what it means to do it. You're afraid of the consequences, of what it means for your life. If you have children, the custody, and what it feels like, the tangible truth of finances and being able to support yourself. Maybe you're afraid of what reaction your partner is going to have. Maybe they're often angry and you're afraid that they will be rude to you, or worse, be abusive through the divorce process. And the truth is, all of those are very real fears to face. But when I finally said I wanted to leave, or I wanted this to end, I'd been thinking about it for so many years. We had previously had a separation about 7 years ago for a little while and came back together. And I thought that time we would finally be able to change our relationship, that he was finally emotionally aware, that he could actually feel his feelings and meet me in the place I wanted to meet him, which was the depth of emotional love and being seen and heard in a way that I hadn't been feeling. Somebody meet me in my depth. Somebody that was even non-avoidant, who would actually feel their feelings and be able to not only not defend themselves through every argument, but also just to be able to hear someone else's and take in what someone else has to say and hold that emotional regulation. Nonetheless, when I finally said it, we were in the middle of an argument. And there comes a point, if you've felt this or have even said it before and didn't follow through with it in your relationship, that if nothing changes, or maybe you tried and they've put their best foot forward, or you've put your best foot forward trying to change to make this relationship work, and the more you do it after years and years and years, there comes a point where if those things don't change, you have nothing left to give. I was at that place. In the middle of the argument, I literally just felt like the pit of my heart was about to fall out into the ground beneath me. And I knew that there was no energy left in me that could give to a relationship that was not bearing fruit. That I'd reached my max on what I was able to give here. Because when it's not reciprocated in a way that meets you, and you feel lonely and isolated, repair doesn't happen. That energy that you were giving just becomes depleted over and over and over again. There isn't a point where what you're doing is going to suddenly become super fruitful and the energy you will gain back again when nothing changes, because you can't make someone else change. You can't make somebody meet you or become emotionally unavailable or become available for you. Your work is on you and you alone, especially once you know and have established for years, trying it different ways, different hats you've put on, and the patience you've carried and the love you've tried to show. And when it's not met, what tends to start building is resentment, anger, because you're holding on to a version that you hope they will become. And that is just a projection of a world you want to build. But the important work in all healing and evolution in the soul is facing the truth. And facing the truth is what's actually scary about what's in front of you. And yes, does that mean you will hit the uncomfortable feelings of and pain and complete fear of knowing that you have to share custody? that you won't see your child every single day, and as a mother or a father, how painful that is when you love your child dearly and unconditionally. But there comes a day when that weight, when you're weighing the options, that weight of staying outweighs the thought of sharing custody, because you and who you are is literally being drained. You aren't joyous. You aren't happy. That full version of yourself, who you were before this relationship, before this marriage, is not even viable in this relationship anymore. You've lost her. You don't know where she went. There's no way to bring that back unless you choose you. And if that means leaving this relationship, you will gain and be supported by the universe, by God, when you know you're putting love first. And love of self, not in a way that harms others, but that you know that you're doing it out of care for yourself, is first, always. It is a very base lesson that we have to learn on this planet in our soul evolution, to love ourselves enough to face the truth. And yes, is it uncomfortable what I'm experiencing right now? It is. I think the hardest part is really the unknown. It's having faith that I will be caught, that the signs and the words that Spirit and God have given me are one of encouragement and support and protection, going through this process and out the other end. Because I know I'm being supported. I see signs. I've had dreams. And if you caught any of my other videos, I've spoken about how I've verbally heard God tell me that there will be a divorce. Because God sees everything. Spirit sees everything. And if you've given all you have left to give, and you are not met with love in return, God does support your evolution. That's the point of all of this. So the age-old, well, we stay in marriages because that's what the Bible says to do, it's been twisted. It's not about the contract. It's not about the government agreement. It's about how you show up in love for yourself and other people. And your task is, and my task is, to love myself enough to say I am worthy of love. And if that means not being with someone the rest of my life, I'm okay with that. Because I know when I have my sovereignty and my energy not being leaked and given to someone without reciprocation, that I will feel so much more fulfilled in life. When I don't have someone who tries to tear me down because of their fears, that I can sit in my sovereignty and my fullness and be in love and be supported. And I've had to face all the pain that it means to not be with my son on an everyday basis. But when I sat in meditation this morning, I heard so clearly that this was something that my son knew would come in his lifetime, that he signed up to experience the split between his parents, that I have to be willing to do what's right, and that it is supported and agreed upon on the higher spiritual planes, and what everyone involved has agreed to, including my son who's come into our lives. When we have that perspective and we understand that's how this works, it can help us. Because then you know that what you're doing and its consequences were agreed upon and or are coming from the right place, that it supports everyone's evolution for you to choose love, for you to choose joy. Because when you know you've outgrown something, staying costs you too much.